Hello everyone and welcome to Heaven Knows Horror. Now, after having 4 hours sleep last night, I woke up and I just had this insatiable thirst to film a video. So I thought I would make up a horror tag because that's easy and it doesn't require me to get out of my sweatpants. The name of this tag is Everything But the Movies Horror Tag, and it's basically what it says on the tin. It's everything to do with horror, but not necessarily a horror movie. So it's 7 questions, 7 answers. Let's do it. Question number 1 is, what is your favourite horror documentary? I have a definite favourite for this, and it is A History of Horror by Mark Gatiss. It was originally aired on BBC4, I believe, so you know that it's going to be good quality because it's from the BBC. It's a 3-part series. I think each episode is an hour long. The first episode concentrates on like the rise of horror in Hollywood, so like Universal Monsters. The second one is all about Hammer Horror and how the UK kind of had like the monopoly on horror for a while. And then the third one concentrates on like from Halloween onwards, so like the rise of slasher films. And he's just got some really great interviews on there with some really like prolific people in the horror community. And I think it's on YouTube. I will post the links in the description. I'm not sure that it's totally legal, but if it's on YouTube, you can watch it. So I will post the links and you should definitely watch it. I would definitely recommend. Question number 2 is, what is your favourite horror TV show? Now, I feel like I should maybe start a Mark Gatiss fan club because he actually created and starred in my favourite horror TV show, and technically it's a comedy show, but it's pretty dark, so I'm going to include it because it has a lot of horror elements in it. It is The League of Gentlemen. It's all set in a little British town called Royston Vasey, and it's just loads of really weird, sinister characters that live there. I mean, one of the characters in particular did actually used to scare me when I used to watch it when I was younger. I think the character's name was Papa Lazaro. I mean, it's pretty terrifying. I mean, it is a very British show, so I'm not really sure if people that aren't from the UK would really appreciate it for all it's worth, because you can go to a small village in the UK and you can probably find a lot of people that are in that show, like very similar people. Question number 3 is, what is your favourite horror game? So this could be a video game or a board game. My favourite is a video game. It's Until Dawn. It's basically just like a story and you push buttons, and whether you push the right button decides like what your character does. You can make decisions for the characters. It's very like the Telltale games, in which when you make a decision it kind of branches off into like a butterfly effect which affects the rest of the game entirely. And I think your objective pretty much is to keep as many people alive as you can. But the thing I love about it is that it doesn't matter if you kill people because the story is just so good. It just kind of follows the old trope, you know, you go away to a house in the middle of nowhere and then strange things start to happen. It's a group of teenagers. But sometimes I would just forget that it was even a video game because the graphics are so good. It kind of just looks like real people walking around. And I think that the characters' faces were done with motion capture. So, and there's these really cool like parts where you have to like sit down with a psychiatrist and he like asks you like what scares you and you have to point at which one, and then they use that in the game to make sure that you are getting the most scariest experience. So that's pretty cool. Question number 4 is, what is your favourite non-fiction horror book? And I have a definite winner. I've used this to make a lot of my videos, mainly my Fright Fact videos, and it is this Real Terror by David Canal. This basically goes from like, starts off with Universal and then goes all the way up to like Sixth Sense and Blair Witch, and it's written like a story, so it's quite engaging to read. It's not just like facts laid out in a list, because I find that pretty boring. I do have books like that for like more of a quick reference, but this is so detailed. If you want to know more trivia about horror movies and maybe the history and the culture of horror movies along the way, this is a must read. And of course, question number 5 is, what is your favourite fiction horror book? I'm just fanning myself with this, don't mind me. Mine's pretty sad because technically it's a pop-up book. But I have loved this book since I was a child. My granny had this in her house and I didn't see my granny that often. So when I did get to go see her, it was like I would make a beeline for this book. It is Some Bodies in the Attic. And basically this is just like a poem with some spooky pop-ups. No one dares open the attic door. Nobody knows what it's bolted for. It could be some bodies are lurking up there, where you often hear voices that call out beware. She used to scare me so much, and obviously it looks very tame now, but when I was an impressionable 6-year-old, that was the worst thing. And the last page is just like full-on Dracula, which is pretty cool. Question 6 is, what is your favourite horror song or soundtrack? And mine is the War of the Worlds album by Jeff Wayne. It's just so epic. That first song when it's like dun dun dun. It's the perfect mix of like symphonic and like the weird experimentalness of like 70s prog rock. It's just the two together, it just awakens something in me. And the fact that it comes with like the story as well. There's like a nice story to go along with it, as well as all the good music. I mean, what is not to like about that?
And slowly and surely they drew their plans against us.
It just sends chills down me. Chills. And then the drums come in. And the second song that I love is Forever Autumn.
The winter winds will be much colder. Now you're not here.
Yeah, sometimes I do wish that it was Forever Autumn. It's my favourite season. And the final question is, what is your favourite piece of horror merchandise? So this could be like a t-shirt, a figure, a piece of artwork, anything. And mine is this huge thing. I'm probably going to have to turn the lights off to show you properly. In fact, why don't we just do that now? I have shown this on my channel before. This is my Exorcist lenticular, and she changes from like sweet and innocent Reagan, like, oh mom, can't we have a horse? And then she turns into like, your mother sucks cocks in hell. She's like, oh, I want a horse. Your mother sucks cocks in hell. I think the reason I love this so much is, one, because it's to do with my favourite horror movie of all time, The Exorcist. So I'm gonna love it because of that. And two, because it's just so unique. I have never seen anything like this before I bought it or after. It was kind of just like a flash in the pan. I saw it on this website in America, so I had to pay to get this imported to the UK because I wanted it that much. And I haven't seen it since. And I just think it's such a cool idea, like the whole transformation thing. I think they should do more of these with different characters. Like, you could do like Jekyll and Hyde, you could do like a werewolf one that would be really cool. There's just so many things that you could do with like this holographic lenticular idea. Captain Howdy. Your mother's in here with us, Karis. Would you like to leave a message? I'll be sure that she gets it. Captain Howdy, that's not very nice. I'll be here all day doing Exorcist quotes. Stop me. Well, that is it for the Everything But the Movies horror tag. If you have a horror channel and you would like to do this tag, please post your video in the comments down below so I can watch it. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how varied everyone's answers are. If you liked this video, you can subscribe, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye!